You're listening to ASOTU CON sessions by Space Auto, recorded live at ASOTU CON 2025.
We are live on the ASOTU CON podcast stage, powered by Space Auto, and in the heart of the action here at ASOTU CON 2025. I'm Nick Askew, and I'm here today with Chad Graves of Reunion Marketing, talking about how AI overviews are changing the customer journey.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. It's an exciting topic. Obviously, one we're hearing a ton about today with the emergence and really just how AI is taking such a forefront of events like this. It's nice to be able to talk about it and bring it down to how it's impacting SEO and organic traffic for today.
Absolutely. And you know, if anyone's heard of ChatGPT or any of these tools, right? A little bit over the past couple of years, it fundamentally has changed how we gather information. But at its core, is it pulling from the same kinds of data? What is actually so different about it?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it really comes down to how people are using it today.
Okay.
And really, I think we do get in a habit here at events like this of really realizing and thinking that everyone's using it the same way that we are, or at the volume that we are today. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how ChatGPT continues to evolve. But at its root, right, it's collecting from the content that's already being pushed out, the same places that Google's pulling, taking in local signals from places like GBP, and it's combining all of that data together to serve up really the most relevant experience I think possible for a car buying when it comes to ChatGPT.
Well, that's what all these platforms want, right? They want users to come back and
100%.
use their product again. It's been the same with Google, right? If they provide the most relevant experience, people are more likely to come back and use Google.
Exactly.
It's as simple, and then they can show their ads and make their dollars, right?
Right, yeah.
So you've been in the SEO and the marketing space for how long now? Talk to me a little bit about your journey there.
Yeah, 15 years now, or almost nearly 15 years. So myself and the other co-founders of Reunion, we actually got our start working directly in-house for a 33-store group in North Carolina. So we were able to do some really cool things there by bringing SEO in, looking at digital marketing really with a different lens for the first time. And this is about 2012. And at that time, we brought in a content specialist. We brought in people to write technical SEO. We started looking at local. And during that time period, the website traffic and leads for the group went up about 400%. The group's revenue skyrocketed to over $1 billion. And we started saying, you know, maybe we have an opportunity to do this. And so we left in May of 2015. So Reunion will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this month, which is really exciting. Thank you. And ever since then, SEO and organic has been at the root of what we do. It's our primary service today. And I think it's still very largely ignored in the space, actually. We have a habit of wanting to buy it or get that lead from the third-party site provider, where really when you're building a foundational organic strategy, that's what I think everything else builds off of.
Understood. So I have been, you know, I come from retail myself before getting into the space that I'm in today. And we've seen everything when we take over websites and put together an SEO strategy, from everything from 5 ways to introduce apples into your fall recipes this year.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of that is maybe gathering traffic, but is that resulting in car deals? I don't think so. So now, as we've seen AI overviews, which is what we're here to talk about today, it kind of take place of the 10 blue links as we're used to seeing on Google, right? A lot of those things are resulting in less clicks. In fact, HubSpot has 80% less traffic to their own blog posts right now because people are finding the answers in overview. So how is this affecting how users are actually finding their data? Because even Google, not GPT or Perplexity, even Google is pushing that to the top of its user interface.
Yeah, I think that Google actually maybe doesn't get quite enough credit for the work that it's doing in the AI space today. Like even going back to 10 years ago when they released RankBrain, they've been experimenting with AI for a long time. And so I think you're gonna see Gemini continue to improve and enhance those AI overviews. And I think it's important to know that they're testing so much, so rapidly, that no 2 AI overviews even look too similar. But what we believe at the root of it is that if you're doing the right things, providing that content, providing the right experience, providing the local cues that we believe are pulling up on, that's gonna give you the best chance to show up in those AI overviews. And I think what dealers need to realize is that it is going to change your metrics. It is going to change the percentage of organic traffic coming in because quite frankly, I might be able to get that answer without ever having to click, right? The idea of a zero click. And I'm really excited about actually how we're able to tweak those things and see, what impact they're going to be able to have.
Right, and so dealers are going to be looking around and going up to vendors and saying, what happened to all my organic traffic?
Yeah.
Right, and they're saying we're getting less organic traffic, and that is exactly right, because people are finding the answers zero click before they even get to the dealership. So what kind of information do dealers need to do? What actionable things can they do to help make themselves relevant in populating into either the search overviews or B, actually getting the click and getting the lead?
Yeah, totally. And I think that that's still the unique thing about Google today is that the AI overviews are great and ChatGPT is great. Like when you combine those two things together, there's so much information to be had, right? And when I start my search, I just went through the car buying process recently, and a lot of the searches I did that provided those answers are things that I maybe historically would have gone to the OEM site for. Things that, I'm trying to narrow down, but when I ultimately am ready to look at inventory, that's where that first click is still valuable, right? Because of that inventory integration, which is obviously so pivotal for our business.
Right, exactly. So if you think about things like in tier 1, 2, 3, or if you're an independent dealer, right? The kinds of questions that the dealership can answer for you is way lower funnel, right? 100%. If I'm interested in finding out what kind of engine a Range Rover has, or if I'm going to the OEM for that, and I can find that directly in those kind of overviews really quickly, because I can ask it to build me a comparison. I can do all of that kind of research. What are a few types of content that dealers can focus on for that low funnel click that will help get them ranking?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think you really want to look at your content plans. And first of all, dealers should be able to visualize their content plans. And I think that's super important to know what's coming. And I think you need a balance of things that are going to capitalize on the low funnel, that make model related content for both new and used. We often neglect the used side of that business, but you can rank for those types of things ahead of the third party sites and things like that. But when you also combine that with that low funnel, but then also making sure your dealership is showing up for some of those more broader type searches, we know that AI is pulling from more long tail. And so incorporating both of those into your content plan is going to give you the best mix of showing up through that customer's entire journey, I think.
Absolutely. AI, as we know it, pulls from questions and answers first, right?
Yeah,
so we know that AI is, most of the search terms that are placed into there are questions. So if we can generate content, what I'm hearing you say is that answers the question 100%. First, we can still provide value as a dealership. So SEO is not dead, it's just changing drastically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I think that what I tell people is that if you're hitting the panic button now, it's probably because you didn't understand it to begin with, actually. So the whole idea of just understanding that it's not dead, and we might be in a day and a time in a year. I mean, we just saw Safari's announcement that they might incorporate AI at some capacity or will. So we might be in a day where there's 3 separate search engines. That's very possible. But as of today, most of our stores get as much traffic from DuckDuckGo as they do referral traffic to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So it's all about understanding where we are today versus where we're going and how do you evolve with that.
And speaking of evolution, just one last question for you. We see a lot of these things as experimental playgrounds right now. And as you say, your response may not be my response.
Right.
How do you feel like personalization and contextual information is going to play into that? Do you think we're ready for that yet for dealers?
I hope so.
We hope so.
I hope so. I think that that's ultimately how you address a customer when they come to the dealership, right? What you come in for. We come in for the same make model at a particular store, but why you need that vehicle and why I need that vehicle could be totally different. That's how we're searching as well. So I do think you're just going to see a time where we're creating content at a larger scale than ever before. And I think we are there now. So content that answers multiple questions simultaneously. Content that's, gone are the days, I think, and I still see these packages of 2-3 pieces of content per month, and that's archaic, right?
Like 2 blog posts a month.
2 blog posts a month and you're gonna win, right? And then you wonder why your organic is dive bombing, right? Or not keeping up with the times. So the volume and variety that is to come, that's what I do think we're ready for, and the technology is here for that.
Well, that is awfully insightful. I mean, I can't thank you enough for sharing your thoughts on that. Thank you very much for everyone listening today. This is Chad Graves from Reunion Marketing talking about AI overviews. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this ASOTU CON session brought to you by Space Auto. At ASOTU, we're obsessed with uniting people around one big idea, that thriving people are the only path to a thriving and profitable industry. If that resonates with you, head over to morethancars.com to join our email list and explore our full list of podcasts.